Arsenal tonight demonstrated their superiority in nearly every single part of the pitch. They're away from home at a big rival in a raucous atmosphere. Those Chelsea fans were up for it. Yes, they've got their problems with their owners. Yes, there's still a lot of question marks over Liam Rosenior. But as most fans do, once the players cross that white line, they create the atmosphere, they support their team, they make a noise. And Chelsea did that brilliantly tonight. And I want to first pay some homage to Chelsea in this because Arsenal scored from a set piece, lo and behold, to boil a lot of piss. But score after a set piece, 6-7 minutes into the game. Ben White with the goal. Really poor goalkeeping, I will add, from Rob Sanchez. And I looked at Chelsea and thought, can they maintain composure in a really big game, in a match that matters? And they did. And Arsenal were the better team still in the first half. I feel they didn't have as much of the ball, but they were certainly the team in the first half that had the better XG. They had the more shots on goal as an example and looked threatening. And barring one cut inside and shot that was saved from Esteval, by the way, fantastic all night, Chelsea didn't do too much. And then the second half began very similarly to the way the first half did. Arsenal come out, a brilliant bit of football down the right-hand side from Bukayo Saka up against the then already booked Cucurella, who couldn't make the challenge. It would have probably dragged him down normally, but he gets the better side of him, plays a lovely ball for the overlapping run from Ben White, and it's cut back into the box. And Gyökeres has to stay alive here, and I was really happy for the man because I think he's faced a lot of levels of scrutiny that have been over the top, considering the amount of other new signings this summer that were, some of them twice as expensive, and have scored nowhere near as many goals as him, have faced a lot less scrutiny. But again, Rob Sanchez making another very, very big error. And as he does that, Gyökeres had to be Johnny on the spot, and he was alert and he was ready. And he scored what is a massive goal in his career. Because for me, forget what the mainstream media says. Forget what the commentators say. I've been very fortunate to be at the centre of so many fantastic footballing debates amongst fans in the last decade or so since the social media era has been upon us. Whether it's on my platform, Spaces Online, or whether it's just listening to debates on other channels. And the one thing that the vast majority of fans bring up on a regular basis is, okay, this player scored this many goals, this player's got these stats, this player won these trophies, but how influential were they on winning those trophies? What did they do in semi-finals? What did they do in finals? And the case in point would be Harry Kane. How many times have you seen Harry Kane ridiculed for not getting over the line, for not delivering in semi-finals, not delivering in finals? And it's why it's a big goal. And it doesn't matter if it's a goal poacher's goal or not. They all count. It doesn't matter. You get it over the line. And then you saw again a spring in his step. There was more confidence. Suddenly he's holding the ball up. He's bringing others into play. Chelsea get themselves back into the game, as we know, by making it 2-1. A very, very good cross over the top. Falls to Garnacho at the back post. Very composed. Hammers it home and makes it 2-1. And you think, wow, now Chelsea are going to go at Arsenal here. The crowd's up again. Can Arsenal, a team who, and let's just say it right, who are synonymous, a team who everybody calls bottlers, everybody says can't handle pressure, I'm sitting there going, right, can they handle this? Can they handle this pressure that is now being thrust upon them? And they did it very, very well. Barring a 5-minute onslaught, Arsenal then took back over control for the next 10 minutes or so and worked the ball very well towards the box. Gyökeres, with a great first touch, knocks the ball off to Zubimendi, something that he's been doing on the edge of the box okay, occupying defenders, the hold-up play's been good at times, but it's what can you do in the box, Victor Gyökeres? And he has been criticised for that, rightfully at times, but as I say, I think somewhat over the top as well. A lovely layoff to Zubimendi, and you see when he does it, he sucks players in that are going to stop him, but he lays the ball back out to Zubimendi using space, he beats one man, shoots and makes it 3-1. And at that point, I can only go by what I was reading in my group chats. Anita, Dorbs, most of the Chelsea fans, just that's it. It's over. It's done. We are out. But a late goal from Alejandro Garnacho still gives Chelsea hope. It's a slim hope because going to the Emirates is no mean feat. It's going to be a very hard game for them. But then the last 10 minutes of the game, Arsenal just saw it through. Arsenal showed great composure. Arsenal demonstrated why they are the superior team. And I think Chelsea, I don't know if Chelsea fans are proud of that performance. You can tell me in the comment section below. I think Arsenal, performance-wise, should be very happy. Scored 3 goals away at the Bridge in a semi-final of a major competition. The only downside for the Gunners, I would say, is the fact that they conceded those 2 goals when they weren't really being peppered. There wasn't too much for Kepa to do, if I'm being honest. It keeps the game alive, but Arsenal will be the resounding favourites now going into that second leg. It's at the Emirates. They have the 1-goal advantage. Yes, Reece James should be back. Yes, Caicedo should be back. So it will most likely be a stronger Chelsea team. But Arsenal, I think, in many people's eyes, they've all but got the job done. It's 1 foot in that final now. And I think they showed great nerve tonight because the world and his dog wanted Arsenal to foul. As I've already mentioned, that crowd was up for it. It was raucous. There was this cauldron-like atmosphere making it hard for them. And I think overall they did a very, very good job indeed. I've mentioned Victor Gyökeres. I think he deserves a huge amount of credit for his individual performance. He grew and grew and grew into that game. And, you know, in terms of touches in opponents' boxes, that's a big stat that the Premier League always go on about. The Sky Sport, how many touches a player had, but how many have been in the opponent's box. No player touched the ball in the opponent's box more tonight than Victor Gyökeres. 9 times he did that. You know, scored a goal, set up a goal-scoring opportunity. And you know what? If a few more crosses and final balls into the box were better, he may have been given a few more opportunities. I think from an Arsenal point of view and perspective as well, I personally loved what Zubimendi and Declan Rice were doing today in the middle. I thought they both had excellent performances. And then Ben White. For me, one of my standouts again is Ben White. On the periphery, really, of the Arsenal team. Been out for a while with injuries, picked up another knock and has come back in. And he steps into the side tonight, picked himself up a goal. He doesn't get the assist because Rob Sanchez fumbles the ball. But he helped set up that second goal. And again, for a player that probably will leave Arsenal in the summer, you know, winning some trophies at the end of his time at the club is going to be a big and important factor for him. And for him to be involved, for him to get those goals, I think is absolutely key. But as ever, look, I want your views. I want your opinions on this. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you feel in this game. A comment here says, Terry, Gyökeres' goal was the difference. Well, Gyökeres' goal and then setting up Zubimendi was. In fairness as well, Arsenal probably should have made it 4-1 before it was 3-2. Will they go on to rue those missed chances? I'm not particularly sure they will. But again, you just go by the other elements of the game tonight. If this game is similar at Stamford Bridge, if Arsenal create the vast majority of the chances, the vast majority of the shots, the vast majority of the big chances created in the game, if they nullify Chelsea again to less than 1 XG, how likely is it that they're going to win? It would have to be a disastrous night in front of goal for Arsenal and some absolutely brilliant goals from Chelsea to turn this around. And that could happen. I'm not going to sit here and do that weird gimmick online to get yourself clipped up where people say a 0% chance. That would be disrespectful to football, let alone Chelsea. But I do think there's only a slim chance from this point that Arsenal lose from here just because their home record is so strong in all competitions. They're so difficult to beat. A draw, remember, isn't good enough. You have to beat them. And I think that's going to be the difficult factor for Chelsea moving forward. But as ever, look, I want to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on this in that comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe, though. And make sure that bell notification button is turned on. It's next to the subscribe button as well. And if you've got any hypes left, get the video hyped up as well for us, please. Get that done.